Hello. I am on my way home from the gym and I decided to take a bit of a detour because it was Easter weekend. I haven't had a whole lot of time to myself this past little bit. So now we get to share that with you. Hello. Oh, my Lanta. It's been a lot. Not in any sort of like awful way. Like I've definitely dealt with a lot of really awful. And this has just been a lot. It's just a lot. It's kind of ramping back into my busy season, especially for art stuff. And unfortunately, that costs a lot of money right off the hop, money that I don't always have right away. And so it's a lot of kind of working double time, stressing over funds, stressing over deadlines, stressing to make sure like all of my contracts are signed and I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But yeah, today I think was a really good example of what I kind of wanted to talk about today, at least for myself. And it's something that's been coming up over the past little bit for sure, especially with my partner and I, because trying to manifest or live in a relationship with anyone is difficult. Living with someone is incredibly difficult. And then enmeshing those two realities together can be really, really hard. One of my biggest things is that my partner is a very practical human. Like he's very much like we have a saying in the house, RTFM, and it means read the fucking manual. And that's his way of saying like make sure you figured it out the best you can figure it out before you gotta dive in. And that way you won't be left with any questions that couldn't be answered by the basics. I love that. I fucking love that for him. And I love that for us. I really do, because he's the practical one. I'm the dreamer who's like out there being like, I'm gonna start a fucking business. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna, wander across the country and hope it all works out fine. And I've done that, and it has. It's worked out all right. Has it been easy? No, of course not, because nothing ever is. But it's always been my process to just kind of like manifest the crazy dream and then be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. And never throughout that have I really had someone be like, should you be doing that? Should you be dreaming that far ahead? And it's really kind of fucked me up a little bit. And so I really had to have an honest conversation with my partner, and one that was more objective than just emotional, because I understand like I can very much get emotional and be like, you're stomping on my dreams. And yeah, this sucks. Who the fuck wants to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this, and then have their partner be like, is that realistic? Like, what the fuck is realistic? I don't know. Anyway, one of the conversations that we had the other day, it was honestly kind of one of those make or break it ones again. It was very much just like recognizing how much of my ambition, my dream, my kind of weary wander, like blah, that I've kind of pushed down in order to make him that little bit more comfortable, because he is so like, he really likes having those handlebars to hold on to while he's doing those motions. And I understand that. I really do. There is safety and security, and that makes sense. That makes so much sense to me. But there's not a lot of growth there. There really isn't. And so we had to have one of those discussions again, because we tell each other often that we are here, we are together for as long as Source allows. I often call him my husband. We're not actually legally married. I don't think we ever will be, and we just don't believe in that kind of thing. But we do believe in spending as much time as makes sense together. You know what I mean? Like if we're meshing well, if our paths are crossing in a way that really is beneficial to both of us, then we can stay in that. We can work with that. But whenever we start navigating too far away from who we are as individuals, like who I am as Brooke and who he is as Kyle, then we really need to take a step back and be like, is this actually what we want? Because we don't want to be who we're not. We want to be able to be in a relationship to help bring us closer to who we are. And one of the biggest things for me is that I'm hard to pin down. I've always been a hard to pin down individual, and that's good. He works surprisingly well within that model, especially given the fact that he's just total fucking opposite of that, which is great. it's great. It actually works. Like, it balances itself usually pretty well. But I had to have that kind of discussion with him, being like, is this is this as far as source allows for you? Because I don't want my crazy running, doing all these things to get in the way of something that isn't him. He's not that mega ambitious kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy to have like 30 friends and go do all those different things with them, like going out for brunch or going out for dinner, or, going to the bar, or he doesn't do any of that, any of it. And so it often gets difficult because we get so stuck in our narrative. We become each other's like only friend. And I know that's so far from the truth, but we become so enmeshed with one another that we really are all each other sees. And so I especially have had a goal where by this time next year, we're not going to be in our apartment. I know I've discussed this a little bit with you guys as well. But by this time next year, we are not, absolutely not going to be in that apartment. And if we are, it is on our way out. It is with, getting our property ready, or getting our house ready, or getting whatever the fuck the next thing is ready. And I don't want to specify. I don't want to be like, yeah, we're buying a house. We're going to own property. We're going to, because I don't want to restrict source in that way. I want to leave it open for surprise. But I know there are certain parameters of which, like my studio, I know exactly what my fucking studio is going to look like. I know exactly what my yard and what my gardens are going to look like. I know I know how it's going to operate for my daughter. Like, she's going to have a big chunk of space for herself within the house that is just hers. And so those little parameters, for anyone of you who are familiar with manifestation, that is, you're setting the boundaries for source to kind of come in and deliver that to you. Now, you can tell me all you want that manifestation doesn't work and that's hoodoo voodoo bullshit. So is the rest of my existence. So, I mean, I've made it this far on those fucking wacky whims. And so far, I'm doing pretty all right. I've gone from being homeless, a literal homeless junkie. And I know that's hard for some people to fathom because I can be pretty well spoken. But less than 5 years ago, I wasn't able to fucking speak a full sentence, much less this confidently. Like, I was nowhere near able to handle most of life at the capacity that I do now. And that in massive part is because, of course, the work that I've put in, but also manifestation, just knowing, trusting, believing that it is coming to me. Like, it's here, it's getting better. That's obviously, because what else are we holding on hope for? Like, okay, I'm gonna reel myself back in a minute. Topic I want to talk about today is fear fucks with flow. End of story. That is it. Fear fucks with flow. We get in our own way more than half the time. I've been telling my partner all this past couple months, and this past month or so, since the shots fired incident in my apartment building, that this time next year we're going to be in our new place, or this time next year we're going to be somewhere different, and it's going to make sense for us. It's going to help bring us that next level further. There's going to be studio space. There's going to be, this, that, and the other. And then the other day he kind of stumped me and he was like, well, yeah, in a year or two, we'll see. And excuse the fuck out of me. Like, pardon your French, dude. What'd you say? And it was like, he genuinely didn't understand. I was like, why are you adding years? Like, why now? Why is this? Because this is how it's been for the majority of our relationship. Is when we first got together, the plan was in a year we're gonna move. And then of course things come up. And so it was, and he kept saying 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I understand you like comfort. I understand you like, easy, guaranteed, cool, could happens. You like those could happens. I do not. Could happens bore the fuck out of me. Plain and simply. And they tell me that you're not capable, ready, or willing to move. It tells me that you're not capable, ready, or willing to have that little bit of blind faith in the universe that kind of literally leads you to all these things. I've had moments where, my daughter and I are kind of in the dumps, and we walk by an old house that we'd lived in and been like, you know what? That's what we need. And we need it in a way that we can afford it. And within a week, that fucking house came on the market. The top 3 bedrooms, we ended up meeting a really cool roommate we got along with, well, for the time that it worked. And you know what I mean? Like, within a fucking week. We weren't planning on moving. We ended up manifesting over $3,000 whenever I was a single mom working at fucking Subway within 2 weeks so that we could claim and move into this space. And that was the space that I needed to get from the one step to the next. It was the stepping stone I needed to get to the next spot. But the long and short of that is I fucking manifested it. We saw it. We wanted it. We knew it was going to be ours. We knew it was possible. And we did it without even a thought. That place wasn't even available yet. It literally wasn't even up for rent yet. And it came up to rent for $1,000 a month in a way we could afford. Funny how that happens. You set the standard. Source listens. Source fucking listens. Bring myself back down a little bit. I'm in one of those kind of places again today because Source, financially, I've never had more than I've needed. Anytime I did, I really did not know how to tend to it, how to take care of it. Again, less than a decade ago, I was not a fully functioning human being. It just wasn't. And so for me, whenever those big things came in, especially things like money, I really didn't know how to handle it right away. Like, that has been such a slow progression for me to, you know, especially being a business owner, making my own money and like having to make my own money. That has really helped put a lot into perspective for finances. However, I always have money when I need it. And I always have exactly as much as I need. And so Source has literally every time that sounds terrifying to some people. Well aware of this. I've got $1 in my bank account right now. That would send some people into a fucking frenzy. My partner included. He doesn't understand how the fuck I manage. And that's fine. My bills are all paid. I should add, my bills are all paid. Every single one of them. Like the ones that are due, like the ones that have come up. And so it's not like I'm just broke and I hope for, you know, Source to send me money when I want cool things. This time, I woke up in a little bit of a fear state this morning because I recognized, I'm like, okay, I'm 10 days away from a day that two rather big bills are due. My insurance for my business, The Humble Beginnings, and the Hippie Hut, the container market that I do my entire summer out of. And I pay monthly there. So that's about a $400, $500 bill altogether, like between my insurance and my rent. And that's on top of my other rent and my car insurance and my... Well, didn't I wake up this morning in a full fear state? Like, oh my God, it's not gonna happen. And what do I do? And how do I get more clients for tattooing? And how do I do this? And it was that moment where I was like, oh my fuck. Like, I'm in my own way. I'm stopping myself again because and it's the same thing I'm forever giving people, and my partner especially, trouble for, is you're taking the magic out of it. It's not supposed to be there yet. It's not supposed to fucking be there yet. You're not supposed to have it yet. Like, if I had just a random $500-$600 right now, I'd be like, I can make back that extra $100, and I could, you know what I mean? Like, it's nonsensical. It's pushing. It creates stress. It creates more fear. So my practice today, and what I really wanted to kind of come on and discuss, was how to move through fear whenever there's lack, whenever there is doubt. How do you balance that to allow for that fear to exist within you in a healthy capacity so that in this case, can kind of get back in flow, get back in alignment with Source, get back in alignment with that, like that manifestation energy, because that really is what it is. I know I don't like using things that make me sound too woohoo, because I understand that not everybody feels that way, but I want my points to be accessible to everybody, digestible, if you will. However, it's truly been that way across the board. My mom, you know what I mean? Like, my mom was a businesswoman of the stars. Like, she was small town famous. She had karaoke and DJ business. She was a real estate search or relocation search assistant for the military in town, her own business. She was a travel agent and all these things, like, at the same fucking time, I might add. And she rocked it, and it was literally that blind fucking faith. And most people were like, "Oh my God, Sin, you're ridiculous." And she's just like, "Oh, whatever. Look at what I did." And it's worked up until she started doubting herself. Up until she started giving in to fear response. Oh, sorry, that's cool. I don't think you guys can see it. There was an eagle, and he's back. Oh, hi, buddy. It's super windy, and there's an eagle right now soaring on the wind right up in my moonroof, and I was able to see him for like, he's just gone now. Anyway, but up until my mom had surrendered to the fear, to the the reality of it, if you will, and even then, she lived in her beautiful state of delusion, and I fucking love her for that. But there were so many of her friends that she'd inspired to do the same, who are still very active in the business community, very active business women, men and women. And it's funny because I remember growing up and being like, you can't just say something's gonna happen and then it's gonna happen. And she found the book The Secret, and she's like, bitch, it's on paper. But that's kind of where I'm at now, is trusting blindly. The source has my back, even whenever it's uncomfortable. Today, it's really uncomfortable. Today, it's uncomfortable knowing that, like, I don't have the money I need going into like 2 weeks from now. And that's not to say like, oh, I need help, give me money. No. Like, I fully understand this works as it needs to, and that has not changed. Like, that is, it's gonna work out, and it's working out. Right down to my phone. I put out some feelers a little while ago for my phone. This is actually the first video that I'm taking on said phone. Sorry for, I can see everything so much clearer. It's like new glasses. But I didn't have any money. My phone crapped out. At the most it could crap out. It could not hold a charge. I couldn't take videos for you guys longer than 15 minutes because my phone couldn't handle the capacity. I couldn't, like, I had to put a lot on the back burner right before my busy season, and that's fucking scary. I put the feelers out into Source. I offered trades for tattoo time. I'm actually going and tattooing my friend that had gotten me the phone on the 29th. I'm really excited for that one. And she went and bought me a new phone without a second thought. She literally went on $300 for a new phone. It's like a Google Pixel, whatever. Camera quality is aces. Like, all my apps work for my Square Reader, like, so that I can check out customers through my phone. Like, everything works as I need it to work. It all comes back. It all does. It all comes around, whether or not I'm immediately in the position to handle it, or if I need Source to back me up a little bit. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trusting that even though I don't fully feel it right now, Source is backing me up. My partner really did kind of realize how much the other day too, like the negative words he was putting in, the negative connotations that he was putting in with some of the things we were talking about. Like, I'd be talking about Humble Beginnings, my art business, which isn't just tattooing. Like, for those of you who don't know me as an artist, like, I'm year 3 of running an art business. I do I make jewelry, clothing, I do wall art, I do ritual pieces, I do altar pieces. Like, it's just a lot. I make a lot of things. I tattoo, and I am studied in holistic health and naturopathic sciences. And so I tried for a long time to kind of like make all of those work together. And then I've just decided, I'm like, no, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the art. And the art thing happened very much like the rest of every manifestation instance that I've had, where it was like everything else crumbled beneath my feet. And I'm like, oh fuck, I have no other choice. And whenever, well, I did, which is sink or swim, and I refused to fucking sink. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do something different then. Jobs weren't lining up. Source was definitely like, no, you're not meant to be working a fucking 9 to 5 right now. Okay, cool. Fear again, kind of like, whoa, what do I do? I started playing with recycled jewelry, and that recycled jewelry turned into, like, it did really well. And then that recycled jewelry turned into, you know, me made jewelry, and then that jewelry turned into, well, let's see how I can do crocheting still, and then it just up and up and up and up. And you don't see the finish line, is I think my point in that. Like, you don't see the finish line while you're manifesting the goal. You see the situation that you have, and you kind of build for yourself what that ideal situation would look like for you, so that you can start manifesting or attracting or building that magnetism to that thing to have it come back to you. And that's the stage I'm in right now. Humble Beginnings has fucking exploded this past 3 years. And I told Kyle this year is going to be my best year so far. It's going to be the difference between kind of like just passing through, just making it, to now this is my life. And my life is going to fucking explode this next little bit. I'm healthy. I took care of my health. I literally got my health back on track. Like, considering I was having seizures and like not able to function less than 2 years ago as a result, like the fact that I can do these activities, be out and just fucking drive myself around, do anything I want, and keep the art going, have the gumption to show up at art shows every single fucking weekend, and to do art and to travel and to still have a social life. I've made that balance, and that was what I was working to manifest last year. Now it's the big times. It's talking to you guys more. It's getting out there in ways that make sense for me, that truly do resonate. And this year it's going to bring in money. This year Source is sourcing in the way that it's like, hey, big things are coming. You need more money. You need more of that dollar value. You need more that tangible. And it's happening. And it's fucking happening. And every time I've brought up the house or anything like to do with next year, I've been met multiple times from Kyle being like, well, what if this year isn't as good as you think? What if the economy fucks up again? I'm like, the economy was in shits last year. We were just about in recession and I still was in the green. That's, you know what I mean? People were struggling to spend on anything other than necessity, and they were still choosing to spend on me. This year, we're all spending Canadian. Like, we're all shopping local. We're all shopping close to home. My people know me. My people are going to support me. And beyond my people, I have got me. This is going to fucking work. And it wasn't until a couple days ago that I realized how often he was saying those things and how often it was kind of stopping him in his own tracks. And just the, oh, well, when this happens, all this. When this happens, all this. That thing in between almost never happens. You need to be the one to start yourself forward. You need to be the one to say, okay, no, like, I'm manifesting this. This is gonna fucking happen, and I'm picking up my boots by the straps to make fucking sure it happens. And if it doesn't happen exactly how I thought it did, it's because it happened exactly as it was meant to happen. I got a glimpse, and that was it. Like, that's what that's supposed to be. And he's starting to see that. He really is, especially with, like, whenever it's said out loud. Like, he'll say it again, or, like, we'll kind of discuss it and be like, whoa, okay, Nervous Nelly, like, why is this a thing? And why does this get our attention and intention, as opposed to the blind faith that could work out, that could have the potential to be great? And he's starting to kind of reevaluate those things. But to kind of circle back around to whenever we were kind of questioning, like, is this still where Source allows us to be? I really want to highlight that he is not in the wrong for not being someone who sees or believes in I don't want to say he doesn't believe in Source, because I know he believes in Source. He believes in something bigger than self, but he has such a hard time putting faith into it. Such a hard time. Like, before me, there was no real, like, even tarot wasn't a thing. Like, it was, and that's fine, again, because, like, not everybody is that. Not everybody, like, he's a very practical human, and that's fucking amazing for him. But I recognized in a lot of ways over the past 2 years where I had to reclaim myself and those aspects of myself, because they were otherwise being lost to his comfort or his discomforts. Like, I wasn't meditating. I wasn't doing yoga. I wasn't in the spiritual community anymore. I started noticing ways in which that I would walk away and distance myself from those communities because there were aspects that made him uncomfortable. Not necessarily with the fact that I was going, but with the fact that he has a hard time anything non-physical. He has a hard time seeing. He has a hard time understanding. And he is slowly opening up to that. Like, we've been doing meditation and yoga together for the last, like, probably closer to 4 months now, and consistently, like every Tuesday and Monday. And we have been doing just random practices and processes within ourselves as well that have helped to kind of cultivate our own foundations again. I go to the gym every day. That's my way to kind of reclaim my body, get my body moving, get everything kind of back in check. I'm very, very, very strict about my diet, like ridiculous strict. And he's very much the opposite. He's the kind of guy who's like, oh, I could live off of McDonald's hamburgers. And that becomes very difficult for me to kind of back and forth, but I will never take that from him. And so it's more just being accountable for my own position in being a partner in his life. And on that same footnote, it's recognizing whenever that becomes too different, that we need to be able to step back and look at it more objectively and recognize, like, is this still giving? Is this still working? And even if it looks good on paper, how is it helping us propel or project, like, go forward? How is this staying true to what we came into this relationship with? Like, our original intentions need to be respected. And the new intentions, the new ones that we kind of cultivate as we go and as we grow, because that is so fucking important. Oh, the rain is starting. I feel like that was pretty well timed, especially as I'm kind of like, I feel like I got my little bit of ramble rant for the most part out. I don't feel like this was a super structured one. I feel like it was more just a reminder to self, like, hey, don't freak the fuck out. Because it really is those fears that get in the way. It's the fears that take away those opportunities that come knocking for you. It's fear that skewers or blurs the illusion or the vision and convinces you that you're still trapped in illusion. It's the the inability to move from what no longer serves. And I fucking refuse to crumble to that again. Speaking of which, my last $1.90 bought me a black coffee today. That is how fucking convinced I am. But it doesn't matter. Source has my back. We're good. See you on the 3rd at the hippie hut. And keep loving your friends. Keep holding on and keep encouraging their dreams. If someone speaks, that's just like a final note, if someone speaks something into reality, if someone's speaking something into the ether and they're really fucking excited about it, don't be the one to be like, should you? Is it? Can you? Can you is a fucking, that's a swear word. It should be a swear word. Should you? Sometimes a valid question. However, and I learned this even just recently with a friend, they're going to do their thing anyway. They're going to do their fucking thing. If your advice is to try and babysit their process, that advice isn't needed. Because if you need to babysit their process, it's not their fucking process.